All right. Under Siege by Eric Trump. This is Eric Trump's new book, My Family's Fight to Save Our Nation. And I just pick up all kinds of books politically, either way, whether it be the Trump family or the Clintons. I mean, I've read them all just out of curiosity, as much most of you all probably do the same thing, which is why you then watch the videos to see what other people think about it. This book I thought was great. You know what it was to me was a series of stories that hadn't been publicized yet or published, which shocked me because, the Trumps, they talk about everything on television. So I thought it'd just be a repeat of everything we've heard. But what I found most interesting were the intricate stories of the personal events of their lives, and also a little bit of a behind the curtain on how their family operates, the dynamics and relationships amongst one another. But I want you to know going into this book, if you've not read it yet, that mainly it is about the persecution of the Trump family since 2016, 2015, up to today. And some of the details involved and the reality on the ground of those situations, and less so a book about their personal lives, although there are some unveiling personal details in here, which I really enjoyed those parts the most. I did not really expect that the whole book would be, obviously it's Under Siege, I should have known, but I went into it thinking hopefully this would be more primarily just about their family, but it wasn't. So just know that, which is fine if you just set your expectations. But I marked some things before I do. Let's see what else I just want to say off the cuff. I thought it was a great book. It flew by, nice and easy to read. I think I read it in 2 nights. You'll fly through it because it's big print and it's not too intricate in detail. I really enjoyed the raid on Mar-a-Lago specifically. He goes into great detail, and the property being undervalued by the Attorney General in the state of New York. And there was some very specific political targeting happening, and it's undeniable. You read the book and it's undeniable. There's not really an argument to be made that it wasn't politically motivated, which is unfortunate. It's unfortunate that is the case. That they debanked, and their lender for Eric took over the business, okay, obviously from Donald Trump when he started going into politics, and Eric ran this company of hundreds of employees across the country through all their properties, and the bank sends him a letter. We're just cutting you off, and everybody's payroll comes from these accounts. It was like Chase Bank or somebody, I can't remember. But they just get a letter one day that we're freezing all your accounts and you have to bank somewhere else. They were thrown off of PayPal and all these transaction services, and for no reason. The Trump organization didn't do anything. It's just property. They're running hotels and in the hospitality business. So it had nothing to do with, and the fact that they could do that and did that was fascinating. So Eric really talks about how he is different from his brother, Don Jr. He's very analytical, and Don Jr. is very emotional. And so Eric took the business and really looked out for the employees. Even during COVID, the state of New York tried to use an ordinance to shut down their hotels, sort of illegitimately. And he wanted his employees to keep getting paid. And they were trying to shut the lights off on the place. For no reason. I couldn't believe it. Fascinating details and all that. And also his work with the St. Jude Foundation is in this book, and he has raised millions of dollars for the cancer center there at St. Jude's. And they went in and accused the Eric Trump Foundation of embezzling money and stealing, and it's got one of the lowest expense rates of any nonprofit in the entire country. And they just destroyed it. So he had to take his name off of it, and basically give his nonprofit to somebody else so that they wouldn't so they wouldn't go after the nonprofit anymore. It's sad, man. So and all that great work for those kids, it continues, but they attack that too. Just certain people, all politically motivated, which is unfortunate. But But the details of all of the St. Jude nonprofit persecution, I had no idea. So, I mean, he takes you through every little thing that's happened to them, specifically the company and him. And also some personal stuff. How he met his wife, I thought was very interesting. You'll enjoy that. Personal details of going into the White House for the first time, going to the church service on Inauguration Day. I mean, really cool details that you could follow and look up the video. He talks about how moved he was when this blind, I think it was a blind opera singer, perhaps. I've forgotten now. It's been a little bit since I read the book. But she, on Inauguration Day, sang in the church. And he was just so moved by it, the way it sounded. And you can go to YouTube and find it. It's really cool details that you wouldn't hear about their stay in the Blair House and stuff like that. So, yeah, I thought it was great. A couple things that I saved that I thought were just powerful. Yeah. So I thought this was a great statement. Today's ceremony, I think this was the inaugural address. Yeah, this was powerful. So they're in the National Cathedral, and a blind child sings "How Great Thou Art." And he's sitting there, and it's echoing through the stone columns, and he is thinking about what is going on. I mean, what a moment. And he said, the inaugural address from the day before came to mind. We are not merely transferring power from one administration to another. We are transferring power from Washington, D.C., and giving it back to the American people. Washington flourished, but the people didn't share in its wealth. Politicians prospered, but the jobs left and factories closed. The establishment protected itself, but not the citizens of our country. That all changes starting right here and right now, because this moment is your moment. It belongs to you. I had forgotten that, and I thought that was very, very powerful statement for the system that is in Washington, D.C. As time passed, I've come to appreciate and adopt more of this style. You can't scale vision without stepping back. After nearly a decade of leading this business, he's talking about the real estate business, I've learned when to let go, how to empower others, and when to zoom in or out depending on what the moment demands. Very self-aware. I saved that because I thought if you're in business reading this book, you really have to be nimble. You have to be self-aware. You have to know when to scale, when to step back. And he had to make those decisions on the fly during this persecution period because they could have lost the business. And a time where the business was flourishing at the best it's ever been. So the market wasn't causing these issues. It was the political motivation. So he had to learn and make quick decisions how to protect the business from these political attacks and insulate the company. It's hard enough to run a business successfully in the market, for letting the free market decide how things go. But when you add an additional element of active attack to the business, it becomes even more difficult. So I thought that was interesting. I thought this was a poignant statement. The fight costs us money, time, and so much more, but I often think about my Czech grandmother used to ask, how many steaks can you eat? Her point was simple. So as long as you have enough to eat, what else truly matters? My family's been blessed with incredible fortune, and that places us in a unique position to be part of the solution, which brings me back to my first point. We are stubborn as hell. He's talking about his family. Thankfully, millions of other Americans are wired the same way. If we were willing to walk away, step out of politics, and quietly run a real estate business, the attacks on us and our company would stop immediately. It would be the easiest negotiation I've ever done, but the truth is we love the country. I thought that was very nice. His communist roots with his grandparents living in communist country, not his communist roots, I should rephrase that. His grandparents living in these nations, he visited and saw the impact of that system, and I think that kind of gives them a unique perspective. The last thing I saved, he wrote, I know that you were pissed, so am I. You were given no apology. Worse, you were told to bite your tongues. This is about the assassination attempt on his father in Butler, Pennsylvania. He's talking about the sloped roof theory that the former Secret Service director tried to say, oh, we didn't have a counter sniper team up on the roof because it was too sloped, and then the next day, everybody's walking on the roof, no problem. He said, your professionalism allowed you to keep a united front. You and the agents on that stage are heroes. He was defending the Secret Service agents that took the heat that day for Donald Trump. The protocol is not being followed as they should have. And he was really talking about the female agent that people attacked. He wrote to her in the book, "To the lone female agent, you are as good as anyone in the Secret Service, and everyone who matters knows this." And to the family of Corey Comportor, he was the firefighter sitting in the audience, "Our family thinks about your loss every time we think about Butler, which happens to be every day. We love you all." He just, I mean, the whole solemn thank you here to the Secret Service that I thought was really, really nice to include, because everybody, the conservative side and the Republican side, people are emotional at the time and destroying the Secret Service agents on social media on that stage for what they said wasn't a great reaction. And he talked about the connection between his family and the Secret Service because of the unprecedented number of attacks. They get to know these people really intimately. So I thought that was very nice. So I saved that. And I do think, finally, let's see what this is. Yeah, he wrote this to his kids, and I thought this was sweet. In case something happened to him, he wanted them to have this book, to know what they're fighting for all this for, rather than sitting on a beach, basically. And he wrote, "Luke and Carolina, your mom and I are fighting for you. Every day and night I wasn't home, I was working to build a stronger company for you. And your whole family was fighting to build a stronger country for you. We're Trumps. When something matters, we don't back down, we build, we fight, we win. That's what we do. I'm writing these stories because I'm proud of my family. Leading the Trump organization through the siege was uncharted territory, and I hope this book does a good job charting the depths." I thought that was really nice. So, just a very personal book, and he's kind of a private person, so I was curious to see how he would handle this, and he did a great job. So this book, Under Siege, My Family's Fight to Save Our Nation, I would recommend it. I probably won't read it again just because it's so about the intense persecution of their family that's politically motivated, and I just don't have a whole lot of interest in rereading something like that. But for anybody interested in politics, sort of biographies by the autobiography, sort of, I don't know what you'd call this, a memoir. It's not really a memoir because it's, I guess it is. Anyway, you come up with what you want to call it. I debate kind of what category it goes into, but he did a great job. But if you're into that kind of reading, I would, or the Trump family or politics in general, just to know some of the behind the scenes, I would recommend this book. There's a lot here to put your teeth in and enjoy. So that's it. Under Siege, My Family's Fight to Save Our Nation by Eric Trump.